Good evening and welcome to the great city of Opa-locka regular commission meeting. Good evening and welcome to the great city of Opa-locka regular commission meeting. Tonight is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022, 7:00 p.m. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Here. My apologies. At this time, Commissioner Davis, invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, thank you for allowing us to gather today on behalf of the city. Father, please bless our residents and this commission as we work together to lead the city. Father, we know with your guidance, we can move this city to new heights and move mountains. Father God, we ask for your wisdom and guidance as we move, and we pray for our residents. In the name of Jesus, we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, any awards, proclamations, and acknowledgements?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have a special presentation that's going to be led by Commissioner Bass.
So if the commission can come down with Commissioner Bass to the front.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to stand before you today with my colleagues from the great city of Opa-locka. As of recent, I have been made aware of one of our former officers, Officer Brown, who ended his duties in Opa-locka June 3rd, 1986. As many of you may know, I was married to an officer. So when I heard of it, I know something else had to be done. With that being said, I'm going to ask Chief Israel to come. And read what we're going to do on behalf of Officer Brown and his family.
First off, I want to start off by saying, Commissioner Bass, on behalf of our city manager, Darvin Williams, myself, and this great police department, and chiefs and captains who came before me, this means so much to our brotherhood and sisterhood. We won't forget this, and thank you for allowing this honor to happen tonight. Long overdue. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to read the proclamation honoring the life and service of Police Officer Ephraim Brown. Whereas the inspirational words of Maya Angelou remind us that without bravery, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. That bravery is exemplified by those who wear a badge, come to work every day as law enforcement officers, whose families' daily prayer is for their safe return home. And whereas Officer Brown will forever be remembered amongst the bravest of souls, demonstrating valor from the day of his birth in Miami on November 30th, 1956, throughout his time at the police academy, from which he graduated on September 3rd, 1982, and then in uniform with Metro-Dade Police before enlisting with the Opa-locka Police Department in 1984. And whereas on June 3rd, 1986, as he answered the call of duty to protect and serve, Officer Brown was fatally shot and our community's heart was shattered to learn that he and his family made the ultimate sacrifice, becoming the first ever Opa-locka police officer killed in action at the age of 29. From that day forth, our community made the commitment that we'll never forget the fallen, full of faith in their return to their new home in heaven. We proudly stand together, honoring the memory of Officer Ephraim Brown, whose service and sacrifice made Opa-locka truly the home of the brave. Now I'm sorry.
It's okay. Now, therefore, I, Commissioner Dr. Sherilyn Bass, along with the citizens of the great city of Opa-locka and my colleagues, Mayor Veronica J. Williams, Vice Mayor J. H. Taylor Jr., Commissioners Chris Davis and Audrey Dominguez, do hereby proclaim June 3rd as the annual commemoration of Officer Ephraim Brown's Day. At this time, I'm going to ask his godmother, Miss Crawford, and his son to come up and receive the proclamation.
On behalf of the Brown family, I want to thank everyone. My godson was only 3.5 years old when his father gave his life for this community. So a lot of the stuff he learned about his father was through myself and the other officers. But we want to just thank you all very much for, it took 36 years, but Commissioner Bass, I thank you so very much for doing this because he was a big part of our lives.
So we thank you again, Commissioner Bass, for proffering up the proclamation and for us finding and having this photo. I spoke with people that knew him, residents, and the one thing that resonated, everyone said was, number one, how truly handsome he was. Yes, I mean, that was like beyond handsome, right? And then how extraordinarily sweet and kind, and you just can't. So we miss him. We know that he is watching over us, and we salute Officer Ephraim Brown. At this time, we are going to move on to our consent agenda. Do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Dominguez.
I'd like to pull number 2,
Okay, number 2,
number 3,
3,
9, and 11.
9, and 11. Any others? Okay, I am going to pull number 4 and 7. So, Madam Clerk, if you can recap the pulls.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Commissioner Dominguez would like to pull 13-2, 13-3, 13-9, and 13-11. And Madam Mayor, you are pulling from the consent 13-4 and 13-7.
Great. Can I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Davis. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it. Second.
It's been moved in second. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the special commission meeting minutes on April 8th, 2022?
Move it.
Move.
Second.
Second. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the special commission meeting minutes, June 15th, 2022?
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any District 1 or District 2 county commission reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Madam Clerk, are there any public presentations?
There are none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the rules for participation for citizens forum into record.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Sherbondi Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And at this time, Madam Mayor, we do have one individual that has registered to speak virtually.
Okay, we will go to our virtual participant first. Citizens forum is open.
Sorry, I won't be participating today.
Hello.
Yes, I'm not speaking today. I was just gonna participate in listening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, citizens forum is open.
Good evening, hi. My name is Sandra Espinal Colado. I live in 301 Baham Avenue, Opa-locka 33054. My concern is, I see, I'm talking about the park. You see, you have a 95,000 for the future authorization for the park. I see each one have a children and living in my Opa-locka, and then, coming to the park. Right? We see the park. You don't know what the children needed? Miss William, how your grandchildren come into the park? No, right?
So
I
please
need,
don't refer to us.
Okay.
Just, yes, thank
okay,
you.
okay, I needed to recognize that you see right now that a lot of children come out to play in the park. And it's all the time, that's not my first time I may complain about beer, drinking. The children don't have a toy for play. The Columbia already is broken. And as I know, she have a mother's few months. I may complain about the park and nobody go to see what's going on, try to do the best for the children now, they're in vacation. Do you want to try to do something? Since nobody care about the children, I care. Please, I need to find out what's going on, who take care of the park, and what do you want to do for the future. In 1978, Opa-locka looked great, nice. The city hall is now looking like a flea market. Nobody care about the city hall. Nobody care about the police department. Please, I wanted you over there, each one over here, try to the city of Opa-locka look much better, because a lot of people, new people moving over there, coming to the meeting because he's afraid to talk, because he don't want to like to say nothing because he's Spanish American, okay? I'm glad you want to try to do something for the park. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Brian Dennis, address 2140 York Street. Monday evening, I received a call from the Mitchell family. The matriarch of the family had passed. They wanted to use the park, so they asked me to make a call to the park. I called the park to find out that Siegel Park was full all the way up until September. So I inquired about Shabandi. The sad part about it, the conversation was, how can 6 employees run 3 parks? 6 employees working park, we got 3 parks, and I stay behind Ingram, that's barely being used. So we know when Pate was here, how many positions were supposed to be lined up? 4 parks. The former director and the assistant director is gone, so that cheese there, that's over $100 and something thousand. So why we ain't got nobody on the park? That's sad. And everybody sitting up here know what's going on, but ain't nobody gonna say nothing. But I'm gonna say something because I've been watching y'all. This tiff between the manager and the attorney, no. Everybody need to stay in their own lane. The manager is supposed to manage. The attorney is supposed to be an attorney. The last time I checked, anything that needs to go through the commission is supposed to go through the attorney that then comes back to the commission. Unless the charter is wrong, then Robert Rules is wrong. And y'all just sitting up here allowing this stuff to go on. Ain't nobody saying nothing. But again, that report with the Harold been out there. That conversation been out there. The Harold just finally reported it. Same game, new faces. Just told y'all this. A year ago, same game, new faces. We got all new faces, but we got the same games going on in the city. The foolishness. 6 people on the park. This the 3rd manager. We don't find 3 managers, but we ain't fixed the park question yet. Why is that? But everybody being slick up here, having little graduations and stuff like that, because it's campaign time. Graduation is every year. Last I checked. Every year there's a class that graduate from whether it's PK to college. But because it's election time, we want to be slick. Child, please. Get some people in the park, man.
Oh, happy day. This is a happy day. Retired Chief of Police Cheryl Kaysen of the city of Opa-locka. And I'm coming forward just to more or less reiterate what's going on today because I am very happy, elated about it. And I want to speak to some of my former employee. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about me being the chief, but they were my coworkers at the time. And a lot of them are out of town, retired, doing other things, and they really wanted to make it. So they wanted to commend you, Commissioner Bass, and each of every one of you, Mayor, Commissioner, and City Manager, for your due diligence and this commemorative, futuristic honoring of Officer Ephraim Brown. And I want to keep that alive, and we're so happy and we're so pleased. We know Rome wasn't built in a day, and things are coming and there are things to go. We want to help. We want to be a part. Smile, keep hope alive. You're doing a great job, because we can only do what we can when we can. I'm very proud of the police department, because y'all know me. I will come forward. I will contact the chief and whoever necessary. And when it's good, it's good. And guess what? Right now, it's like Tony the Tiger. It's great. Good evening.
No clapping, please. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, it's with deep regret that I have to stand before you tonight and express my troubling concerns. My concern as a 22-year resident, my concern as an Opa-locka businesswoman, my concern as a former appointed and former elected official of the city of Opa-locka. I'm concerned that nearly 3 months ago, I filed forgot what it's called. Well, I filed with the Parks and Recreation Department a request for community facilities, a service that is available to all residents. The use of the room was to film specific segments of the Miss Senior Florida Pageant 2022. The application has to be approved by the Parks and Recreation Department, by the manager's office, and by the police department. To date, I have not heard anything from any of these departments. No acknowledgement of receipt, no status report, absolutely nothing. I called Parks and Recreation on about 3 occasions, inquiring about the status of the application, and I was told we're working on it. I'm concerned as a local businesswoman. I'm the CEO of the Miss Senior Florida Pageant, and it's located right here in Opa-locka. And the organization that was to benefit from this use of facilities was that organization. And as a result, we were adversely affected by the lack of communication, the inefficiency of these departments. I'm concerned about the fact that no respect was offered for my 20 combined years of service as an appointed and an elected official of the city of Opa-locka. if you treat me like this, heaven only knows what is going on with hardworking citizens in this community and how many people who desire to do business in the city of Opa-locka are treated. I don't know who or when the campaign was initiated. I am Opa-locka, because Opa-locka does not reflect who I am. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not inefficient, and I'm not unprofessional. This is not only going on in the Parks and Recreation Department, our police department, and our administration. At present, it seems as though there's an epidemic that's plaguing our city: inefficiency, lack of respect, lack of communication. This has got to stop. My mother used to say, and I still remember her saying it, "One monkey don't stop no show." And I went to another community and filed an application that was processed in a timely manner, and our production schedule is being fulfilled. Well, the bottom line is this: I should not have to go out of my community to receive efficiency, communication, and respect. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Nikisha Williams, 1200 Jan Avenue. First, thank you for the work that y'all do. I appreciate it. I'm here, though, to speak in support of the boat and watercraft permit that is on second reading tonight. I was excited to see this come up, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, because you oftentimes hear about the importance of beautification in our own community. And this is a great first step in the right direction. I personally would love to see a city where some residents are not using it simply as storage space, but the boats and the watercrafts actually receive the permits, and we know what boats and watercraft are here, and there's record of it. And so we know that this is common in other cities. This is not any type of policy or legislation that is out of the ordinary. And so I just wanted to speak in support of the city of Opa-locka adopting this ordinance, and thank you all for your consideration.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, City Manager, and happy second day of summer, everybody. My name is Alex Van Meckel. I'm the owner, resident of the historic Dove House at 806 Jan Avenue. And by the way, it's nice to hear some common sentiment and consensus among some of the things we're talking about in regards to beautification and an elevation of standards in the city in that regard. So to that effect, I resurfaced today to continue my unwavering support for all initiatives that deal with the beautification of our great city. It's been many weeks since I first brought to your attention my advocating for an open storage ordinance to be passed with specific language that encompasses items that should be contained or prohibited from plain sight. It would be great to get an update, but I understand that there's been some forward momentum on the matter. Second, and concerning this evening's second reading of the amendments, as Ms. Williams had alluded to, in adopting and amending our land development regulations and code of ordinances, I'd like to express my full support for such a measure as consistent as I would for the open storage as well. To elevate the standards of living for everybody in this community, we can't afford to pass on an opportunity to practice this notion of being a city of standards and not one where people can simply do what they want when they want, as often is the case of what I hear about Opa-locka from those that do not live and breathe Opa-locka. Recent strides in beautification and investments have and are being made both at the municipal and residential levels, with measures such as this and open storage setting the stage for others to get in line with a city that cares about its reputation and appearance. It's about what our properties look like, and that's a precedent that the city sets and has done before in years past. We shouldn't undermine the great contributions of many for those who care not about their unsightly properties and misplaced possessions, alluding to Ms. Williams in concerning about storage space on these properties. On top of which, it's not just about appearances, let's be real, it's about ensuring safety and minimizing hazards. We're talking fires, trash buildups, et cetera, something that often needs addressing and regulating. I'll end with this. These standards, like open storage and this, are not uncommon in our county and our neighboring cities. Miami-Dade County states as much of the same language as is this reading. It's right there on the website. No major repairs, boats cannot be used for living or sleeping quarters, commercial boat parking is prohibited, which we know a lot of people do. It speaks for itself. Section 98-2200 of Hialeah's Code of Ordinances singles out boats and watercraft in a very similar manner. So I implore you and I encourage to please support this. It is, again, as some have alluded to in regards to parks and recs and just overall beautification of a city that I know deep down cares about its appearance. Strides are being made. This is one, and I look forward to seeing many more to come. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Tarani Mitchell, 14225 Northwest 22nd Place. I want to start out by indicating that I was supposed to receive contact back regarding the water bill issue from last meeting, and I have yet to receive a contact back regarding that issue. Of course, I went outside, my number was taken, but I have not heard anything back. I want to say I called City Hall. It's a shame I got to call 2 and 3 times yet to get the voicemail when I thought there was supposed to be a receptionist there to answer the phone. I called there yesterday and I called today. I have not got an answer on the phone yet. I do have a concern because we haven't heard anything back yet about if anyone received a call or contact anyone about the train tracks. The train tracks are tearing people's cars up. And if our city don't want to be liable for taking care of people repair bills, we need to contact someone to get the train tracks repaired. Also, the same issues and comments everyone is making about beautification, but beautification starts here at our homes as well. Starting here with the old City Hall, just around our parks, everything need to be upkept, just like you guys expect for the city residents to keep their homes and their yards and in front and back and so forth. So we have to also work diligently to clean up our own homes, which is City Hall, the parks, the town center one, just everything that the city is responsible to try to keep the upkeep going, picking up paper, if rocks in the street, like there was some rocks out in the area, like when you go around the curve here for over 2 months or so. Finally, that was cleaned up. But we have to, like they say, sweep in front of your own door first before you go out to try to sweep in front of someone else's. Thank you.
Citizens forum is open. Citizens forum is closed. Madam Clerk, we'll begin with our action items from our consent agenda. I'm sorry, Madam Attorney. 13-2. You can read into record.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing acceptance of a matching grant award from Miami-Dade County for implementation of the Purvitt Street Tree Project to be completed by June 30th, 2022, and authorizing the interim city manager to execute the tree planting agreement attached as Exhibit A, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to discuss consent agenda item 13-2?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis, second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a project that comes to us through our capital improvement projects as part of our beautification initiative. I'm going to ask the department head of that department, Ms. Adelina Gross, to come and speak to it.
Good evening, Commission. Good evening, Madam Mayor. This item intends to execute the agreement that we received a grant back a few months ago from Miami-Dade County in the amount of $50,000. We are installing 167 trees along Purvis Avenue. That will be from Shadasat Boulevard to Northwest 151st Street, as well as nine ball cypress on the triangle area. Do you have any questions regarding this?
Any questions?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
The reason why I pulled this item, this is a great idea. I love trees. I think that this will beautify the city. The only question is that I have is, how is it that we're gonna plant 158 trees by June 30th, which is the deadline?
Well, the deadline is to execute the agreement. We have received an extension from Miami-Dade County to install the trees, and once the project is over, we are going to move forward with the presentation of the grant.
So what date do we have? What date was it extended to?
To the execution of the agreement, June 30.
Because it says completed by June 30th, 2022. June 30th is next Thursday.
Yes, I think this is probably an addend and an add-on that was added by the attorney, but we have received the extension to implement the so we will be completing the project mid-July.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Madam Attorney, 13-3.
The resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with SSN Engineering LLC for continuing professional architectural and engineering consulting services for engineering and design services for the construction and installation of an 8-foot wrought iron fencing and entry gate system for Seagull Park in an amount of $95,000, further authorizing a 10% project contingency budget of $9,500, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move consent agenda item 13-3?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dominguez. Mr. Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is a project also part of our beautification initiative under our capital improvement projects, but it also provides safety for Seagull Park. I'm going to ask the department head, Adelina Gross, to come and speak to the item.
Good evening again. So the idea of this project is to actually elevate the security at the park and the beautification of. We are removing the chain link fence that is on the back. We are also removing all the trees that are coming into the park from the adjacent properties. And we are adding an additional maintenance gate for the vehicles.
Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
Okay, thank you. I recall on January 11th, 2021, there was a CRA meeting that $60,000 was allocated for the Parks and Fencing project, which was funded by the state grant. This project was supposed to be completed by June 30th, 2021. Now here we are in June of 2022. My question is the $60,000 included in the $95,000 in this resolution? Because it was supposed to be a 50-50 match. So where is it included in here, the $60,000? And if you like to look at the YouTube, it's at Mark 2243. We were all there, so.
So the $60,000 are going to be used towards Sherbondi Park. We are also doing that fence. The project has already started the contractor has already started the construction of the fence. And the rest of the money is coming out of the park's budget to replace the Seagull Park fence. This is not part of the agreement, however, it was included, but because of the price of the materials and the cost of the construction, we are moving forward with the gates and the security fence.
But I don't see it here in the resolution where it's included. You know, I looked up the whole agenda and I don't see anything that speaks about the $60,000 that was allocated.
No, the
So-
$60,000 are allocated towards the Sherbondi Park. This is Seagull Park. The Sherbondi was approved on last meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Um, Madam Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. I'm glad that we were able to pull the item from the consent agenda. So I'm able to share my sentiments. I live very closely to Seagull Parks, and oftentimes I hear concerns about safety and ultimately unwanted visitors that seem to patronize the park and make it very difficult for the residents and their families to enjoy it. So thank you. Kudos to the manager's office and Public Works and all the departments involved in ensuring that our parks are secure and safe, as well as the police department who's been doing regular patrols and ensuring that the wrong element and those individuals that patronize our park and ultimately make it inaccessible for our residents do not hang out there, and that doesn't exist. So kudos to the manager and the administration and all that everyone is doing to keep our public spaces safe.
Okay, any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, item 13.4, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the city manager to piggyback General Service Administration Contract 47 QTCA 19 DOOGE for 24/7 managed cybersecurity detection and response for the city's network in an amount not to exceed $41,130.52 annually, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item is to address the issues that governmental and municipal systems are having nationwide with cyber attacks and being held as ransom. I'm going to ask the director, our interim director of IT, Mr. Dauphine, to come and address the item.
Good evening. Laboda Dolphin, Interim Director of IT. I have the vendor here that can answer more questions. If you guys like me to have them come up.
My question, well, it was more specific to city, so I guess I'll ask my question. So then I don't know if it'll go to you or the vendor. Of course, I'm glad to see the amount has gone down. My question is, if we're going to start with certain departments, have we taken a look at those departments that are in need, that are going to be provided this service first? Or is this an overall like start package?
This is for the internet service for the city. So it encompasses all departments in the city. So anything that goes through anyone or anybody that uses the internet, this is what this is for. So this is for internet protection.
Okay, so this amount will do the same thing, the same contract, the same piggyback?
For everybody.
Okay, from all departments.
Yes.
So we're going to officially stop being antiquated and officially be virtual, like I can pay, you know?
No, that's
Okay.
that's totally different. So being able to pay online, that's a totally different system, totally different project. This here is for protection of the city from outside invaders coming into the city via the internet to attack us, hold us for ransom or anything like that.
Firmware, like, got it. See, I know.
Ransomware, yes.
If I may, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this item is cybersecurity only. This is not the
Got it.
pending item regarding digitizing our city hall.
Correct.
Thank you.
Good.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 13.7, Madam Attorney.
The resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to issue a request for proposal for the demolition of the structure at 2141 to 2151 Ali Baba Avenue within the city, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Have a motion to move the item.
Move it.
Move.
Second.
Second. Madam, I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Manager, so I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is actually an item that is impacted by two departments, one being our Community Development Department and our Code Enforcement Department. So I shall have both of those departments available to answer the questions, and I'll ask Mr. Lee, our Planning and Zoning official, to come and address this item first.
Gerald Lee, Planning and Community Development Department, City Zoning Official. This property has been a nuisance property in the city for quite some time. And now we're finally at the place where a request for proposals is going to be submitted to be able to accomplish the demolition that needs to happen on the property. This property was taken before the Unsafe Structures Board and was declared that they could go ahead and do the demolition. And the part of that process is to do it by RFP. And that's what the city manager is requesting from the board.
Okay, I pulled this item because I know from probably even before I know Commissioner Davis, from before we all got up here, this had been something that we had been talking about. You know, we wanted this property for a very long time to be demolished. Kudos to you and all the different departments that worked on demolishing this property. This is going to be the first step to that revitalization of Magnolia North, and that property was just so derelict. So I wanted to have you mention that so that it's on the record and our residents know that this had been a hot topic that have been that have come up. I'm going to say more than 2 years, probably, like I say, the 4 years that Commissioner, I'm not saying 4, but I know he was here so before us. So, you know, but again, we thank you for this action that is being taken, and that's it. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 13.9, Madam Attorney.
The resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving a settlement agreement in the case of Raul Fernandez and DJ Opportunities 8 Al versus Miami-Dade County and City of Opa-locka, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Okay, can I have a motion to discuss the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass, Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Matt. No. Madam Attorney.
Yes, this is a settlement of one of the water cases that we had discussed during the executive session. And following the guidance from the city commission, we settled on this amount, which was $100,000. And full settlement of the dispute, and we received the 100,000. We don't pay it.
Okay. Any discussion from the commission?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
I actually pulled this in error, but I'm glad that she gave us information regarding. So we basically received for one settlement of 100,000 and another one $105,000. So I just want to thank the law group for collecting that money and continue doing a good job and bringing more money.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, no other discussion. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 1311. Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, correcting the name of a development agreement between the City of Opa-locka and Wellspring Apartments LLC to reflect the correct name, Wellspring Community Resources, Inc., for the construction and operation of a senior affordable housing facility located at 1403 Northwest 27th Avenue, identified by folios 08212202500580 and 08212202500590, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Okay, Madam Attorney.
Yes, basically, we had a situation in which the resolution that was drafted named one entity and the development agreement that was attached named another. At this time, the facts are that there is a lease between Wellspring Community Resources, Inc. and Miami-Dade County for that property. Therefore, we would like to have the agreement reflect Wellspring Community Resources, Inc. There are also, I'd like to raise a couple of minor points that need to be resolved. I highlighted them to the document. So if the city commission is approving this at this time, it would be preferable if it could approve it while allowing us to make minor modifications consistent with the county's lease. That's what I would like to see happen here, because there are a few little modifications that remain to be done to make it consistent with the county's lease to Wellspring's Community Services. That's all.
Okay, before we discuss, I need a motion to move the item.
Move it.
Move.
Second.
It's been second. I pulled the item. Thank you, Madam Attorney. Isn't there a clause that you can, for Scrivener's errors? Were there Scrivener's errors, or was there another issue outside of why this needed to come back in terms of the development agreement?
There are a few, there's a little bit more substantive than Scrivener's errors, because for one, the property is leased, it's not owned, and the development agreement stated that it was owned outright. So that's more than, that's substantive. And we have a few other points. We would like to just be consistent with the county's lease. They're not major, but they must be taken into account, because I don't have the answers. We don't have them. So we have to ask and clarify.
Okay, and that was my question. If there's no other questions or discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
Thank you. The The reason why I pulled this is basically what the attorney stated, that the actual development agreement is Wellspring Community Resources, Inc., and not Wellspring Apartment LLC. So, I mean, I wasn't here last year when this was brought up, so I don't know, well, I haven't seen the backup documentation to review when this resolution was passed. So after having the Commission of Ethics come last week, Jose Arroyo, I personally don't want to be connected to any of this, so that therefore I cannot support this at this time. The project is great and everything, but not at this time for me. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Davis.
I just have a few questions. Obviously, I was here when the item first passed back in September of 2020. Voted in favor of the item. But looking at the resolution, we're saying that, I guess, just the name, just a formality with the name. So if we pass this item tonight, it would ultimately amend the incorrect wording or entities involved in the naming of the project, as well as I heard two things, scrivener's errors with actual site control of the property, leased versus owned. And I also heard consistency with the county lease. So if we pass the item tonight, would those items be addressed through the attorney's office? That is my question, Madam Mayor, to the attorney.
Yes, the city attorney's office would work on the document in collaboration with city staff. Because some of the noted nuances, we'd need confirmation from city staff. I would imagine that would be Mr. Gay. And we would make sure that the consistency is there and correct.
Okay, and I also have an additional question. One board member raised the concern regarding prior meeting where a representative from Ethics spoke to the issue. As our city attorney, asking legally, is there any liability or exposure to this commission for voting in favor of this document based on that opinion that was provided at the last meeting?
Madam Mayor? Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Davis, and thank you all for allowing us to bring this issue to you. The issue was brought to our attention by the Commission on Ethics that there was a discrepancy. We had previously advised the city staff that the name that should have been on there was the name that was proper and on the resolution. We're not sure how the name, the other name came to be on the development agreement. But once the Commission on Ethics brought the issue to our attention, we obviously need to correct it in order to make it consistent with the county's lease agreement. I did not prepare the development agreement, but somehow it had my name on it with even my wrong address on it and other information that I did not prepare for the development agreement. We did prepare the resolution, however, and we did advise staff that the name that should be on there. So right now we're just looking to clean it up so that it's consistent with what the county has and what the county leased in terms of the property. And this is the issue again that Mr. Jose Arroyo brought to our attention, and we don't want to be in a position where we look as though we're compliant with something that's not properly done. So we're bringing this to you for your approval so that we can make sure that we're consistent with the county agreement, which is the county lease agreement that has been approved. And that's what our development agreement has to reflect, the name that the county has on its lease agreement.
Okay, so in addition to making a correction and making a lease you know, to the standard of Miami-Dade County. I didn't hear a question regarding, I didn't hear the answer to the question regarding liability and if this board approves the item based on the legal opinion. I understand that much of the work that you're doing is to address, most of those concerns that would lead us into those problems, but I didn't hear a definite answer as to if this board approves this resolution tonight, is there potential exposure or liability from that decision? That's the opinion that I'm asking of you.
Well, I can't contemplate that because I can't tell you where that might come from. It could even come from the developer. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that we need to correct it and make it consistent with the lease agreement that Miami-Dade County has approved, because clearly it's wrong right now.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Bass.
listening to what everyone has to say, my suggestion would be is to table this, come back with the correct verbiage based on what the attorneys are saying before they bring it to us again. And at least it will be completed. I would hate to say yes and it's not what it should be. I would like to see it first before we vote on something. I don't want to hear that it's going to be edited, it's going to be fixed. Fix it first and then bring it back. Thank you.
Well, the part of the problem, if I may answer the question, Madam Mayor, through the mayor, a part of the issue is that Mr. Williams has said that he is no longer the president of this entity. And so we have to get answers from somewhere for this entity. We're thinking that perhaps the staff may know who we can contact to get the answers that we need. The things are relatively minor, other than the name change that we need to make. And so it's not significant changes, but we do want to address the Commission on Ethics, bringing this issue to our attention. And I think that the other minor things can be resolved pretty quickly once we figure out who staff will be in communication with, other than Mr. Williams, who may be able to answer our questions, because clearly it's not an ownership issue. Clearly, some of the things that are in the lease agreement are not consistent with the Miami-Dade lease agreement, but we can do those things pretty quickly once we identify who we should be speaking with.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Davis. Oh, I'm sorry, sound like Davis. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The issue here, as the city attorney has clarified, there is a discrepancy between what the resolution states, which is Wellspring Community Resources, and what the developer agreement states, which is Wellspring Apartments LLC. Wellspring Community Resources is a nonprofit leaseholder that actually has no past, no current, and no pending development projects with the city of Opa-locka. Wellspring Apartments LLC is a subtenant that has funding from Miami-Dade County, support from Mayor Cava's office, support from District 1, and also $20 million in bonds for the affordable housing complex. There is a discrepancy, but it is not the developer agreement that was proffered by the community, our community development office. It is actually the resolution that needs to be corrected to state Wellspring Apartments LLC, which was proffered by the city attorney. I do anticipate that if the developer is withheld from moving forward with this project, that they will sue on behalf of themselves and the county.
If I may, Madam Mayor, if I may.
I'm sorry, Miss Michelle was before you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Well, what I wanted to say about that is that basically there may be a document that makes Wellspring Apartment LLC a subtenant, but we don't have it. And that's really maybe the discrepancy. So we have, the only thing we've seen is a lease between Wellspring Community Resources, Inc. and Miami-Dade County. And as a result, our position was and is at this time that any development agreement would have to be with the entity that has the lease. But if there's a sublease that's been approved by Miami-Dade County and that we can look to that as authority, then we can adjust it the other way. We just don't have it at this time.
And if I can add to that, Madam Mayor, we have been in communication with the Housing Finance Authority, the Miami-Dade County Attorney's Office. Neither of those entities are aware of a lease agreement or a sublease agreement that is existing between these two entities. And so in doing our due diligence to bring this issue back to you, we obviously would have had communications and tried to clear hurdles to make sure that there was no other agreement. So right now, as it stands, there is no, although there's been some monies that has been, that's even a process. It's like Michelle can go into it if she'd like to, but there has been no, at this point, even an award, there's been some funding for through the Housing Finance Authority, which I think the manager was referring to. That is just like a preliminary thing that they do. They don't even check to see who has ownership authority or site authority of the property that's being developed. They do it so that federal funding can be secured if you meet a number of other factors. And so at this point, there is no lease agreement that is with the corporate entity that it's on the development agreement. There is no lease agreement with Miami-Dade County. There is a lease agreement with the other entity. And so based on our research, we're asking that you all help us be legal and consistent with what Miami-Dade County has approved, and also what the Commission on Ethics has pointed out to be an inconsistency.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Bass.
just so I can be comfortable in my vote, are you saying that in order to continue on with this this resolution, the first step would be to correct the name?
In order to be correct with what Miami-Dade County has approved as to who they're leasing the property to, it needs to be corrected. And that's what everybody is pointing out. And that's what we're trying to bring forward to you so that the document can have the correct name on it. Because right now it does not. The correct name that should be on the development agreement, which is the same name that should be on the resolution. See, there was a resolution approving the development agreement, which had the correct name on it, which said Wellspring Community Resources, Inc. That is the correct name. And on somehow, this development agreement that was supposed to go with the resolution that already had the correct name had the wrong name on it. And it had the Wellspring Apartments, Wellspring Apartment LLC, which is not the correct name. It should be what Miami-Dade County has already leased the property to. The county has leased the property to the former name, Wellspring Community Resources, Inc. And so that's what we're trying to clean up. And we're trying to make it consistent with, again, what ethics has pointed out to be a discrepancy, and what Miami-Dade County has basically has in their records. And so if at some point in the future, the developer comes back and they are able to show the city that in fact, now they have some type of contract privity with this other Wellspring Apartments LLC, then we can address it with the commission to be accurate. But right now, I don't think we want to be in a position where we look like we're, not doing something that's proper. So at this point, that's why we brought the issue to you so that it can be in alignment with what the county has approved for the lease.
Thank you.
So, two things. I get that we're fixing the wording on the resolution. I also hear that the development agreement was worded incorrect. I don't know who or what entity or where things changed, but I am concerned that this doesn't happen again. if this does happen again, how do we know more development agreements are not happening with incorrect name, incorrect titles? I'm not pointing the blame at anyone. I do know that if it's a resolution, the resolution is proffered through, through one department in terms of charter. Development agreement is through our city. So if, we pass a lot of development agreements and I'm concerned because I don't want to be in this situation again where there's incorrect wording. And I can only imagine how many more development agreements are floating out here that are incorrect. So I know it was brought to your attention via ethics so that we can, make sure moving forward, all of our ducks are lined up, but I do want to make sure that this does not happen again. And we as a city need to make sure that we have some fail safes in place so that nothing comes out and that there's not any incorrect documentation that is leaving the city that we don't know about. So we need to have some type of second eyes on things as they leave the city so that we're not in this place again.
You're absolutely right, Madam Mayor. And if I may, what generally would happen is the development agreement would get executed. This development agreement, although it was approved last year, like over a year ago, it was never actually executed or even attempted to be executed. So what would happen is that when it comes back to the clerk's office with all of the documents, we have reviewed it and made sure that it has the right names. And if there was a problem, we would kick it back or whatever. But that never happened. And so the clerk never got it to have her sign it. We never received it to have our signature on, because we review, whenever we get resolutions back, we review them with all of the supporting documents to make sure that they are legally compliant before they even get sent over to the state. But with this document, it never actually came back. So we would have caught it through that process, but this didn't go through a normal process, and we're just not sure. So one of the things that really should happen is when development agreements are approved, they should immediately be executed so that the commission, there's a process for it. I mean, normally developers will want development agreements executed immediately and if they're approved, but that didn't happen here.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
After listening to the attorney and the explanation, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
We are at item 16A1. This is a first reading ordinance. Madam Attorney, if you can read into the record.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 2, Division 2, Section 2-45 of this Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances entitled Agenda to delete all references to future agenda items, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Vice Mayor Taylor.
Can I have a motion to move agenda item 16A1?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Davis. Vice Mayor Taylor.
I brought this item forward to remove the future agenda item from as an agenda item on our, during our commission meetings, because I felt that it ties the hands of the commission when we're trying to do legislation. So I wanted to move this item out of the way in order for us to actually move forward with proffering resolutions, ordinances, and on a timely manner. Because a lot of things that we proffer gets lost, seems to have gotten lost in the wind and lost in future agenda items. So that's why I proffer this resolution.
Okay, this is a first reading public hearing. Public hearing is open. public hearing is closed. Are there any discussion on this item?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Bass?
when Vice Mayor brought this to our attention to basically do away with it, I agreed originally, but however, after going through the original intent of this, I cannot support us doing away with it. He stated that certain items get lost, which is unfortunate, and I hope that it never happens again. But I'm not gonna support doing away with it because at this point, we need it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, I do want to say that I agree, I did support it. However, I know that this was something that the Florida League of Cities basically provided us as a good plan of action. Having some consultation with the league, this should be something that I'm going to say that we continue, only because what will then happen is, as a commission, we will say an item, we'll pass it, and then our city manager's office and those departments after that will then have to work on the item. However, this does give the commission time, as well as our city manager's office, and along with all the departments, no matter what department is spearheading it, to work on the item. I see both sides. However, I do want to default to the fact that Florida League of Cities did say this is a best practice, that we, because of the issues that we've had in the past, that we continue. So I'm going to agree with you, Commissioner Bass.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
though I understand, we all said that the Florida League of Cities, but we have to understand that everything doesn't work for every municipality. Here now, if there is an emergency or resolution that we want passed tonight, the commission will not be able to do what we were elected to do only because of this future agenda item that's holding the commission back. So in the past, we said, and we've been up here for 2 years, we've seen this practice and we realize that it does not work for this particular commission. Though the League of Cities said it works for other cities, but you have to go with what works for our city. And we were elected to be legislators. So that means that the only person that can bring forth legislation at a drop of a whim would be our city manager. Not the mayor, not the commission, not the vice mayor, not anyone else. And that's not a knock against our manager, but at the end of the day, we were elected to legislate. So I understand why where she's going with the League of Cities, but it does not work for this commission, in my opinion. And there has been resolution items that each one of us has said we brought forward, but it got lost in future agenda item. It got lost in future agenda item. And now all of a sudden, we're in love with the product that was proffered that does not work. Go ahead, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so just to respond. So the comment was, does not work for this commission. So let's just back up on that particular comment. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Don't say this commission. That's a broad statement. However, and let's try to not be so, broad in our statements and comments. However, the point of it is, it's not a Florida League of Cities and it's for every city. My question when I met with them was our city. So, we just gotta make sure we get all of our information and facts correct. Yes, this is something that Florida League of Cities does stress to cities, but in our city, to make sure that we have, again, I'll use this fail-safe term, that we're working in a timely fashion. Now, I do want to respond. Yes, we are here to legislate, and we do legislate. So we don't need to, say what we need to do, because we all know that that's what we need to do. The point of it is, we can also make a motion. So legislation can continue to happen with or without a future agenda item. You can make a motion to do anything that you think that's in terms of legislation. So let's just be clear on that. Yes, Commissioner Davis.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, I didn't have anything.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Sorry.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Yeah, regarding the future agenda item, I think that it does not give the staff enough time to do research, which is the best practice. So I can't support this at this time.
Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
normally I don't like to do the tit for tat thing, but you said something about us not saying what doesn't work for you. And I can remember various resolution items that this commission has tried to pass. And for many reasons, it did not go through because of future agenda items. Preferably some of the things that you proffered, preferably some of the things that many of my colleagues have proffered. And all of your, everything was stated, oh, we can't do it because of future agenda items, future agenda items, future agenda items. Now, all of a sudden, we're here to get rid of and to write it, and we can't support it because the League of Cities, and this is a fail-safe. We need fail-safe.
So, yeah, so you say you don't go tick for tack, so we about to go there. Because you know me. So I do my homework.
So do I.
I do my homework. And so based off of the homework that I've done, and not just Florida League of Cities, and let me just go back. My items, yes, you are very correct. There are items that have been passed on this dais by all of us that have flown out in the wind. And I can tell you a few of them, right down to the mailers of beautification and what needs to happen. I am tired of saying that same thing. I've said it for 2 years. Right down to illegal dumping. We've got wooden signs up, and that was not the wording that was in my legislation. So I can give you, you're correct. And that is an issue that we need to fix in-house. That's an issue. However, I'm saying that we need to give our staff time, because after doing my homework, so that's the beautiful part about having future agenda items, because I can change my mind. But at that particular moment, you would have caught me saying yes. Correct? Because this was a future agenda item. And I would have said yes, and we would have moved on, and I would have been, shucks, I wish I didn't say yes. So that's my point. That's my point. So I don't want to go tick for tack, but you know I will be here all night doing it. So let's call for the vote, unless you have anything else to say.
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much.
I have nothing
Roll
else
call.
to say.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
I'm just lost. I'm sorry, I'm lost.
We're voting on the future agenda items, Madam Commissioner Bass.
I'm still
She said she was lost.
16A1, to remove future agenda item.
I heard all the conversation, but just for one moment, I just had a senior citizen moment, y'all. I'm sorry. It's a yes. It's a yes.
I can't hear you. She didn't hear what I said. Do you need me to recap?
Recap.
Madam
want me to read it?
Mayor, if
Yes.
someone could just
I don't think-
reread the resolution into the record.
Yes,
for
can
Commissioner.
you please, Madam Attorney?
Item 16A1, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 2, Division 2, Section 2-45 of the Opa-locka Code of Ordinances entitled Agenda to delete
all references to future agenda items, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Commissioner Bash, you good?
I am good. Thank you very much.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
So let me just start over, Madam Mayor, if that's
Yes.
okay.
Please do.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
No.
Commissioner Davis,
I kind of want this discussion, I know we're in roll call, I kind of want the discussion to continue, so I almost want to give it the nod so we can have the second reading, so, because there was some good discussion and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm gonna say no, though, I'm gonna say no.
is that a no for you, Commissioner Davis?
Yes. Mhm.
Commissioner Dominguez,
No.
Mayor Williams?
No.
Motion fails.
Madam Attorney, item 16B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, pertaining to storage of boats and watercraft vessels, amending Article 5, Section 22-114 of the City of Opa-locka's Land Development Regulations, providing for certain definitions, requiring ownership or lease of parked boats on residential property, prohibiting encroachment of boats upon any portion of the front yard, permitting only minor and noiseless repairs of boats, prohibiting boat trailers used for a living or sleeping quarters, providing for a registration process for boats and personal watercraft, amending Chapter 7, Article 1, Section 7-6 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances to add new number 105, establishing a $100 fee for boat and watercraft vessels permit registration, amending Section 2-570.33 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances to establish a civil penalty for non-compliance, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. First reading was held on May 25th, 2022. This is sponsored by Mayor Williams.
Okay, can I have a motion to move agenda item 16B1?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Davis. So just briefly, this is second reading, so we've already talked about this before. The item is to ensure that all storage of boats and watercrafts are, just have a permit. We know, to ensure that we know the boats and watercrafts within our city. $100 is not a lot if you have a boat or watercraft, to make sure that it is registered with our city. Just to, and give it a little background, speaking with some law enforcement who also stated that they agreed with it. Boats, watercraft, specifically boats, when law enforcement are looking for someone, has potentially the potential to house criminals when our police are looking for. And that has been also something, and just interesting to know that as well. However, we want to make sure that our residents are not using boats, watercraft for sleeping quarters. And that's just one entity. However, we do know that it's about beautification. I appreciate when we talk about sweeping around our own front door. I totally agree with that. So it is a holistic inside and a holistic outside approach to beautification. Are there any other discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
as I stated before, during this economic crisis, I don't think it's wise for us to take punitive action against our residents. Though you say that $100 is not a lot of money for if you own a boat. But one, counting someone's pockets to me is a judgment call, very disrespectful and extremely rude. So I'll say this, I will support it if you remove the fee. I understand beautification and I'm all for it. Let's beautify the city. But adding an additional tax or additional taxes or fees to our residents at this time I do not agree with. I do not agree with, and I will never support that.
So I'm gonna go back because you said that I was disrespecting, and that, sir, is incorrect.
I said counting someone's pockets. You said if you have a vote, you can afford $100.
So-
That's a judgment call.
Okay, well,
That's a judgment call.
okay, so
Okay.
thank you. I
You're
get you, mad, but it's okay.
I'm not
The
mad.
point of it is it's all about beautification, and all other surrounding cities have the legislation. We cannot continue to say that we have to, because we're in a pandemic or we're in a financial crisis. The point of it is we have to make legislation to continue to move our city forward. We can't pause. So if that's the case, let's not pay our water bill. Let's not pay the things that we need. People have to pay money. So this isn't putting a tax on every resident. This is putting a permit, giving a permit, because at the end of the day, when it's my birthday, whether it's a pandemic or it's recession or I can't afford formula, I still have to go and get a driver's license and put that sticker on my car, whether we're in that or not. So at the end of the day, that's just what it is. So we can't not legislate based on these are hard times. We have to continue to legislate to move our city forward in terms of beautification. I am in agreement that we do need to, again, inside and outside holistic approach, but we cannot just stop our city and our taxpayers based on what they want and based on them beautifying their property.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
thank you.
I never.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to touch on a couple things because I was, too, up in the air, and I had some of the same sentiments as my colleague. But I just want to offer just kind of some of the guidance that and the points that I settled on. So as the mayor stated, the $100 fee is exactly that. It's a fee, which is, a user fee. So it's tied to usage. So, it's different in essence from a tax. A tax applies to everybody equally across the board. And the reality of user fees is it's just that. It's a user fee, right? So if you don't want to pay the fee, then don't buy a boat. If you want a boat, unfortunately, there's going to be a fee associated with that. I also too had concerns about, the living quarters and just, obviously we're in a housing emergency, and we do know that is happening to some extent within our community where, individuals may be living in boats. However, that those sort of conditions and those sort of circumstances aren't, safe, right? They're not safe. They're not recommended. No one should be living in a derelict vessel. So while, I do share those same sentiments, we are in a housing emergency. We know, many individuals within our community and others are being creative in, and how they have to live and get by. But ultimately, I don't think we as a city and as a, commission board should support something like that. So that was just kind of where I settled. I did share many of your concerns, Commissioner Taylor, but those are just some of the points that I settled on regarding some of the concerns that were brought up.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
I just want to ask a question because the same comment is being made that people are living in boats. I mean, has anybody seen anyone? The police have any record of anybody living in a boat that have been caught? I don't know, because I've never heard of that. of somebody living in a boat. I've never seen that before. So if anybody, maybe the police department can elaborate on that, or they were caught in it. I'm not sure.
So just to let you know, it's just one entity of the legislation. It's not the major people are living in boats issue. I do want to go back and say this. Just in our neighboring city alone, city of Hialeah, their most common violation, number 2 of their code enforcement was special use recreational vehicles and boats. So this is something, and you can go to the city of Hialeah's website. That's their most common code enforcement violation, the second one. So this is not foreign to other cities. And just to go back, and I said this during CRA, maybe it went on deaf ears, during Cava's, Mayor Daniela Levine Cava's mayor's roundtable, our neighboring mayor, Stephen Bobo, made mention that he was going to proffer legislation to also register and have a registration process for trailer homes because he did not want his city to turn into a trailer park. These are all legislations. Now, we can easily say that trailer homes house people. So it's not a boats or housing people. It's the potential that it could have. But this is legislation that is happening. We can walk away from it, but it is there. All of our surrounding cities have it. And we need to make sure, whether we do it or not, but it's not to be disrespectful or to disrespect anyone. However, that registration process, if you have a boat, you register it. Just like if I drive a car, I have to register my car. Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
again, I never stated that I was against the resolution. My issue as still stands is the fee. I understand that it's not a tax. I understand that it's an assessment. And if you own a boat, you should pay. That's what you all are saying. In our city, we have one of the highest taxes. So to add an additional fee, no matter if they own a boat or not, if you remove the fee, then I can support it. If this is that important for beautification and for registration and for permitting, then the fee, why the fee?
Why not the fee?
Because I already explained why not the fee.
Punitive, but then
That's
you
why
pay
not the fee.
fees, so we are punitive
But
in life.
people have licenses based on laws that have been passed. We're adding this now during a financial crisis. During a financial crisis, you're adding this now. So you can't compare this to a driver's license or your tag.
Again,
It's
you don't
non-comparison.
stop your life during a financial crisis.
That's your opinion, Madam
So
Mayor.
I'm not going to remove the $100 fee off of
Okay,
this
that's
legislation.
good.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Davis?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, let me back up. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
No.
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you. City Manager's report. Oh, so sorry. Item 16B2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the request of 3805 Northwest 132 Street LLC to rezone the property located at 3805 Northwest 132nd Street, identified by folio 08-2129-010-0090 for the construction and operation of a construction and demolition waste processing facility on the property in the I3 zoning district, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. The first reading was heard on May 25th, 2022. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I have a motion to move item 16B2?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
Good evening, Hope Calhoun, Land Use Council for the applicant. We're here just to answer any questions that you may have. The item was approved on first reading. Thank you very much for that. No one has objected to the best of our knowledge, and we would ask that you would just approve this on second reading so we can get the property improved. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Mark Cooper, 12720 Alexandria.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Good evening. Mark Cooper, 12720 Alexandria Avenue. I own a property, two properties. Oh, by the way, I dropped off some
I'm sorry, can you bring the mic a little bit closer to you? Because we're having a hard time hearing you. No, I think you just turned it off.
Hi, Mark Cooper. Good evening. 12720 Alexandria Avenue. I own two properties about 1,500 feet away from the applicant. I put a packet together, some pictures. So the application, what they're trying to do is set up a transfer station. They receive garbage, put it in bigger trucks and haul it away. I was here about a year ago with similar objections to the project. I was voted 2-2, denied. But the vote wasn't really 2-2. Commissioner Burke wasn't here at the beginning of the hearing. I was here. He said he was against it and he had to leave. He wasn't feeling well. And then as the conversation went along, the mayor at the time was against it. Commissioner Williams was sitting next to him until the vote, when he was ready to vote in favor of it. You looked at him like, what just happened? I remember that. So if you can just look at my, so it wasn't really pass or a tie. It was kind of a strange way to do the numbers. But this is picture number one. This is Cairo Lane, about 5 in the morning on a Monday. I own property at the end of Cairo Lane. There's roofing debris on the right-hand side. That's by the recycling company, the metal recycling company. There's a pile of dirt that wasn't there on Saturday when I left. There's no real way to police illegal dumping in that area. The next picture, number 2, is 127th Street, which is at the end of Cairo Lane. You make a left, and there's just garbage everywhere. And the situation with garbage is because Miami-Dade County bulk waste picks it up. They make commercial property owners responsible for what's in the swale, on the swale of the property. So if you wake up on a Monday and you show up to your business and there's garbage out there and you call an inspector, you're getting a citation for $500 and you got to deal with the garbage. The idea, page number 3, the property that I printed this today, the property that they're trying to develop is it's on the bottom there, 198,000 square feet. It's almost 5 acres. You could easily put a building there about 150,000 square feet. Picture number 4, right now they're using it as a truck stop. The highest and best use for the property is a warehouse, not a truck stop, not a small building to bring as a magnet more garbage into our city, which we can't really police. I've called the police twice at least on illegal dumping. You call 911, the county switches you over to the city sends someone, they do send someone, but the illegal dumping guys are gone by then, and you're just stuck telling a story, trying to remember a tag that you don't remember. So the property could be better developed if the owner right now is paying too much in taxes. They're paying about 90,000 in taxes. It's in the packet. What happens is the taxing structure gets so expensive when you're not using a property to its highest and best use, that it forces you either to develop it or sell it. A property right down the street, right south of the Gratney, picture number 6, I believe, are warehouses that they've just built on similar properties. Is this timed? I have about 2 more minutes.
Yes, you're 2 minutes.
I can do 2 more minutes?
How, are you almost done?
Yes, almost.
Like,
Page number
Quickly.
7, a similar property sold in May for $17 million. I don't think we should allow them to bring a dump into our city and not optimize the tax base. And lastly, the real problem in Opa-locka is that on Cairo and Alexandria, there needs to be infrastructure put in place, and that has to come from the tax base. The city can't really afford to underdevelop properties because the canal south of 127th Street, all the junkyards dump all their, I own 2 junkyards, all their dirty water, their oils into that canal. If you look at it from Google Maps, you have to go east, way past 27th Avenue for that water to turn from brown to blue. One day, it's gonna be a mess. Thank you.
before you leave, I'm not sure if anyone has questions for you. Because we're processing the information that you gave us. I don't know if anyone does have questions. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay.
I would just like to make the packet part of the record, if I can. Thank you.
Let me close public hearing. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Does anyone have a question or discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
Okay, just for clarity's sake, this is an existing property, and what you're doing, what you're asking is to rezone downward in order to put what you're already doing into an enclosed building, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Vice Mayor. If I'm permitted, can I just answer and add just a little bit more?
Yes.
I recognize that the gentleman who spoke before me, just before I spoke, just before me, wasn't present at the last hearing, so he didn't have the benefit of the conversation and the presentation that we made last time. So just very briefly, as you just stated, Vice Mayor, we are proposing to down zone the property, and the uses that are currently occurring in and around the area, we're actually proposing to improve by putting into a building. He clearly stated the highest and best use for the property was a building, and that's exactly what we're proposing here. And then lastly, I know you didn't ask me this, but we're speaking tonight about the rezoning, and nothing that he raised was about the rezoning. It was really about a use, which really would have been more site plan related. The rezoning is really about the changing of the zoning of the property. And again, we're down zoning it. So thank you for letting me elaborate, Mayor and Vice Mayor. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Commissioner
Madam Mayor.
Dominguez.
I just wanted to know, are there any other construction and demolition facilities in the area? Because this is what is going to be there, in that location?
Yes, that's what we're proposing.
Okay, so are there any other facilities similar to?
Let me ask my client. I don't know.
Okay.
So yes, there is another facility nearby.
There is.
Our neighbor, yes. But again, the objective is to improve the area. You might recall that last time, and actually it's in your backup, what the property looks like right now. It's open. There are trucks parked there currently. So we're proposing to move all of that exterior work inside. So what we're doing is actually improving the situation that is going on now.
So you know, this particular item from start to finish has just been here like multiple times. And you know, from the beginning, it gave me pause from the beginning. I know we've moved it, we're, you know, second reading. I do know one of the things that I asked for from the beginning was to ensure that there was an environmental protection from the waste facility that was in the agreement. I want to ensure that that's there and that there will be a long-term plan for any environmental accidents or waste or anything that could potentially happen. I am still just.
I'm sorry, this is my client, and he was
Okay.
just confirming that this is construction debris. So the waste that you're concerned about, he thinks it's not a concern for this particular property based on the way that they operate.
Well, construction debris or not is waste.
Understood, but I guess the part of the point is that we are regulated by both the city and the county with regard to any type of waste, solid waste, water waste, anything that leaves the property. So we are regulated properly, and that has been addressed and will be. He's just reiterating, it's not garbage, it's construction debris.
No, I know
I
it
know,
was, but if you recall, when I was stating probably a year ago, it seems like, well, many months ago, that we talked about in case there was water or leakage, that waste could potentially, that runoff, not waste, construction waste.
I
know you wanna-
understand,
you want me to
I
say
understand what you're saying.
the
Mary.
runoff. I mean, that was a big conversation, and we agreed that that would be placed into that if there's any environmental hazard that comes from this facility. If I recall, Mr. Manager, you weren't here, but this was something that we said in any type of property of this caliber, that would be written in the
Development
agreement,
And the
that there would be
development
an environmental clause and environmental protection. I just want to make sure that's happening,
And that
because
agreement
I'm
has,
feeling like it's not happening.
that agreement was approved last year prior to actually my involvement. So
Yes.
that language should be in that agreement, which was already approved.
Should be, or is it
Well,
there?
let's confirm.
Because I can't move forward if I don't know that's that link. And I was very clear many, many months ago that that would be the language in the agreement.
So we don't have a copy of the agreement with us tonight. It's not before us. However, it has not been executed yet. So that language, if it is not in there, it will definitely be in there. But again, that agreement has been approved, so I'm pretty confident that it's in there. If it is not, it will be added, and your city attorney will review it and make sure.
Mr. Manager?
If that is the will of the commission.
Well, I don't know, maybe we may want to go back and review those meetings, but that was one of the things for me, what made me decide to move forward. I was dead against this project. And just the potential, I mean, we're talking, I don't want to keep saying it, but it's a construction waste facility.
Madam Mayor, since the agreement has not been executed, we absolutely can ensure that it's included before my office approves it, if that is the will of the commission.
And then I want to make sure, because your director was standing here and said that that would be a part of every agreement surrounded by a property such as this.
So if it's not a resolution, we can actually make it a departmental policy
Okay,
moving
well,
forward.
Was it a resolution, Madam Attorney, Madam somebody? Did we make it a resolution?
I'm sorry, what's the question, Madam Mayor?
So that, for some reason, I'm going back in my memory bank that it was a resolution for the environmental protection to be added into the developer's agreement.
I would have to check the
have
minutes,
to
Madam
check,
Mayor,
okay.
but there's a possibility that a motion was made at that time
Yes,
to
I
include
believe
that
it was.
language.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, if it was
Yes.
previously agreed to, then my client is here, he hears you. We will finalize the development agreement and include the language that concerns you.
and I know this has nothing to do with that. I know this is zoning. I'm just saying,
I
this
recognize your
gives me
concern.
pause, and it gave me pause then, and it's gonna probably give me pause for the next 30 years.
So the reason that my client keeps coming up, he just keeps stressing it's construction debris because the thinking is that there's a theory or a mindset that this is just trash and it's going to create pollution and contaminants in the area, and it's not. That's just not the way the facility operates. So that's why he keeps wanting me to tell you that. So we will add the language to make sure that it's operating safely and in accordance with all regulations. He's standing here to, I think, to just tell you that. But again, as you've stated, the goal is to get everything into an enclosed building. So what you see and what you're concerned about now actually improves. That's what we're looking to do, is make an improvement.
Okay. And I don't want to beat the dead horse, but I know it was stated before, if this is a facility for construction debris, how do we keep those that are doing construction, not only in this city, but in other cities, to not dump construction near this building or around the building that's then going to proffer all around the other surrounding buildings? What's the prevention?
So I just asked if there will be cameras on the property so we can see what's happening. And the answer is there will be 35 cameras. So we'll be able to see and monitor and report people who dump illegally around the property.
Oh, report. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Report to who? Who are we reporting to?
So he just said you can see as far as the traffic light that's closest to the area, to the building. So it covers a wide area. And so if someone is dumping illegally, hopefully we can get their information, their license, and report it to the appropriate authorities. I believe it'll be the police department.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just received a message from our Director of Community Development who states that the language is in the developer agreement.
Thank you. So cameras will be around. They'll record people that are legally dumping. It's going to be a dumpster around that building. So will then the owners then
just said
bring that debris in?
He just said that he does
Okay.
and will, yes.
That's what I need to know.
He just said that. He already
Still
does.
gives me pause.
And will continue to do so.
Okay, if there's no other questions. Anyone
I don't
else?
have any questions, Madam Mayor, but I'd like to make a statement.
Yes.
I didn't support this project when we voted on it the first two times. I didn't support it on this first reading, nor would I support it tonight. We have a zoning code, and ultimately our zoning code is the law and lay of the land when it comes to development within our city. I was fortunate enough to be able to sit on the zoning board when the city had the last overhaul of its zoning code. What the applicant is asking for specifically tonight is a rezone request, which is completely against our zoning code. I know we're talking about zoning, so I'm just dealing with zoning. I don't want to talk about environmental or illegal dumping or anything else. I'm just dealing with zoning. This is completely against our zoning code. And the notion that this is being downsized is not being downsized. I keep hearing that term downsize, downsize, downsize. We're taking a use that's permitted in a specific area of our community, and because it's enclosed, debris, whether it's construction material, I don't care what it is, it doesn't belong in the I-2 corridor, which is why our zoning code specifically deals with that. We have an I-2 and an I-3 for a certain reason. I will not support this project. I'm pretty sure you have your rebuttal ready because we've been back and forth plenty times and my position will not change. I would not support projects that create eyesores and even more illegal dumping and other concerns within our community.
Madam Mayor,
Thank
may
you,
I
Madam
just
Mayor.
very quickly clear the record?
Yeah, let me just say real quick. Thank you, Commissioner Davis, and being the senior member on this board. And I know that you were on planning and zoning. I hear you, and I'm going to actually default to what Commissioner Davis is thinking. I totally agree with that. Yes,
Thanks
ma'am.
for allowing me to do that. So the reason I wanted to correct the record is because of a few things. You might recall at the last hearing, which was something I think that resonated, the uses that are permitted in I-2, excuse me, in our current zoning district, I-4 and I-3 are identical. So by making this change, you're not creating any new slum or blight or negative use on the property. The uses are identical. Allowing the rezoning is not a way to get around anything. It is a way to improve the area. You have, again, you have in your backup, and we presented last time what the property looks like today. It's open. There are trucks parked there. It is just, it's just open. We are proposing to take a use and put it into an enclosed building to improve the area and what it looks like. So when people are driving by on the highway, on the street, walking by, whatever it is, instead of just seeing open parking and trucks and the property as it is, they get to see an enclosed, improved building, improved landscaping, improved fencing, a nice new building. It is not a way to try and go around anything. The uses in each zoning category are identical. And I presented that at the last commission meeting. So I just think it's important to remember that as we beg for you to please allow us to make this improvement to the property and approve the rezoning. And I think I just said this, but I want to say it again, and I hate to do this, but I am a lawyer. When making a decision on a rezoning, you make it on substantial and competent evidence. The evidence presented to you tonight on second reading and on first reading indicates that we have satisfied the criteria presented by staff, the people that you pay to make these judgments. You have not heard any competent substantial evidence from anyone else, notwithstanding anyone on the board. You're just obviously have your positions, but no one who spoke against outside presented any competent substantial evidence to provide a rationale for why you shouldn't approve this use. Again, it is an improvement to the area is all we're asking for. New building, new landscaping, building inside. Environmental concerns have been addressed in the agreement. We're prepared and would love to please move forward. This has been a year, over a year.
I would like to hear from our attorney on this matter.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So the legal standard that was stated is substantial and competent evidence. That is true. You all can certainly debate the issue and you can, decide how you choose to rule on it. You might also consider, if you're still looking for additional information, deferring the issue until the next meeting. If you need additional information, and we can certainly speak with each one of you separately about the issue and legal considerations. So the legal standard that was stated, I'll just say for the record, is the correct legal standard. But if you all would allow us, if you're concerned about the issue and the legality of it going forward, perhaps you consider deferring it and allowing us to speak with you individually.
I don't know if it's the will of the commission if we want to defer it or not. It's been here for a while.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
if I may pose a question to the attorney. Madam Attorney, if this board decides to vote not in favor of the item, what are the legal implications of that? Does this commission have to vote yes for a rezone of the property? Obviously, the develop agreement and site plan have legal implications. Is there any legal implications relative to approving a rezone request, which is completely against the law of this city, which is our zoning code?
Well, there could always be legal implications. And so to tell you that nobody could sue you because of this and there's nothing, and there's no recourse, I can't tell you that. But what I am saying is if you would allow me to meet with you all individually to talk about this issue and what possible options there could be that may not be as legally burdensome, I'm happy to do that. But there can always be legal implications, and I would prefer not to do it in this, have a legal discussion with you about your options in this public way. So I'm suggesting that if you have concerns about voting no on it, maybe that's something you can look at deferring and we can talk about it. Obviously, you are the governing body, and you can go forward, but I would like to at least have a conversation with each of you about it if you're considering voting it down.
Madam Attorney, I asked a specific statement and you gave a very broad response. Obviously, we know that anybody can sue for anything, right? I'm not an attorney and I'm aware of that.
I can't, I'm sorry, I'm not answering it in the way that you want me to.
Hold on, Ms. Weeks, please.
Hold on, Madam Attorney. My question was specific to this scenario, referring to our zoning code and the rezone request presented by the applicant.
I believe that the legal standard stated by the attorney is correct. And someone would look at the record that has been presented tonight in order to make that determination as to whether substantial and competent evidence has been presented. And so I am trying my very best not to say anything that will be adverse to the city right now. But what I am saying to you is if you're considering voting it down and you're not sure what legal implications there can be and whether you've met a standard of having supporting substantial and competent evidence, perhaps you want to defer it until the next meeting, right? I am trying not to give you a legal opinion that may be adverse to the city at this moment.
Madam Attorney, if our zoning code says that you can't do something, is that not illegal?
Well, that's not exactly what we're dealing with, Commissioner Davis, but I would ask that you allow me to meet with you all individually to go through the legal issues here and then answer your questions offline.
Okay. I'm fully aware of the issue. This is, not my first shot at zoning issues and this applicant. So it's really up to my colleagues. You know where I stand.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, point of privilege.
What'd you say?
Point of privilege.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to me. You want to talk? Yes, go ahead.
I may.
Yes.
Proceed. Thank you. I was just going to state that a request to rezone property is a procedure that is outlined in your zoning code. The zoning code permits the request that we are making. So it is not, I'm trying not to overstep my place, because you have a city attorney. It is, and she's spoken. It is within a property owner's right to make requests that impact their own private property. And so that is what we are doing, and your code permits us to do so.
Does anyone on the dais need the item to be deferred so that you can have a conversation with the attorney?
No.
Or, yeah, well, no, so I'm hearing no, and no one else is speaking. Commissioner Davis, you have,
No, I don't need it deferred. I was ready to vote on the item 2
Okay.
years ago, but here we are
okay,
again.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
No,
Commissioner Dominguez,
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes
Thank you very
3-2.
much. Thank you. Commissioner Davis, I would love to have a further conversation with this about you at the appropriate time. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. At this time, item 17, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I first, as always, like to address the items that come up in the public forum. I will first tend to Mr. Dennis and his issues regarding the parks. We just interviewed 4 candidates for parks today. 3 were selected to move to the background process. The Parks Department staffing is being.
I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, everybody down here can't hear you.
My apologies, Madam Mayor. As always, I'd like to first address the items that come to us through the public forum. I will start with Mr. Dennis and his concerns with the park and its staffing. Upon meeting with our former interim and now permanent Parks Director, Ms. Sonia Ray, I directed her to immediately fill all vacant positions. She has been actively engaged in that process. We just interviewed 4 candidates for parks today. 3 were selected to move to the background process. We're in the process of hiring a senior coordinator for our seniors. The Parks Department staffing is being restructured because there is an immediate need for staffing. In addition, we are also purchasing new vehicles for our parks, and our Parks Department is actually thriving at the moment. We had a citizen who wanted to address the water bill issue. We're looking to get her contact information to address that. She also had a concern with the railroad tracks. The railroad tracks are not maintained by the city of Opa-locka. However, we will report them to the appropriate governing body to ensure that they get repaired once we identify where the issue is. I'd also like at this time to ask Mr. Corian Delane to stand. His first day back was this Tuesday as our CRA manager. Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
Okay, are there any questions, comments for the manager?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Manager, the only concern, well, you addressed it. One was the parks in regards to the senior bus, but you said you have vehicles on the way. So I'm happy about that. The other thing is, I want us to, I don't know that trying to say it right. Okay. Vice Mayor Titus is concerned about feeling disrespected in our community after serving 22 years. I want to make sure that we write that, because one, she never comes, and for her to come out to express that concern, it's troubling for me. And she served this community for many, 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 many years. So I want us to make sure that, I'm not saying give her special treatment, but at least acknowledge her, because she said that she asked, I think 3 months ago to use the facility, and she never got an answer or something like that. But can we reach out to her? I don't know, unless you have already done it, but can we reach out to her to make sure that we smooth that over with her?
Absolutely, Vice Mayor. We have the utmost respect for our current and former elected officials. We've been working since I have been the interim city manager. Ms. Titus had another issue within our police department, and I had a face-to-face meeting with her. I gave her my contact information. upon his appointment, Chief Israel had a face-to-face meeting with her and has been working with her hand in hand to resolve her issues. We will continue to reach out with Ms. Titus to resolve whatever concern that she has. However, tonight was the first time that our department have had, has been brought to my attention, although we've had face-to-face meetings with Ms. Titus, that there was another issue brewing, and we will reach out to her and resolve this one as well as we did the last one.
And one more thing, Mr. Manager, I just want, you don't have to do it tonight because I know I'm catching you off guard, but an update on the oversight, where we are and how long we're gonna be under state oversight. And I know so I know you can't answer it right now because I'm catching you off guard, but can you provide the commission soon with because I think I think we haven't focused on oversight enough. So I just want to make sure that all of us are on the same page when it comes down to our audits, to our oversight, to everything, because at the end of the day, we love the oversight committee, but it's time for us to fly on our own. So whenever you get a chance, just to give us an update. You don't have to do it tonight, but just whenever you get a chance.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. Through the mayor to the manager, I know that we pass as a future agenda item to basically look at our budget and establish funds to provide a summer youth employment program partnership with Career Source South Florida. I did reach out to the manager's office last week for a status update regarding the item. As we, summer is basically starting and we want to get the ball rolling. So if the manager could just provide a brief update as to where we are in that process. Yeah, and that's it. Sorry, Mr. Manager.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. We did, my office set up a meeting with Career Source immediately after that resolution was passed, that direction was made. We have done everything on our end from multiple departments to prepare for this program, from working with our parks departments, working with our human resources department. The contract and my office has set aside the appropriate funding to match. The contract is in the hands of the Career Source and we're just waiting to get it back. And we're pressing hard for them to move on this because time is of the essence since we're already in the summer.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, I was a little concerned about all the comments surrounded about parks. I was in a meeting yesterday when it was told that there were 150 children in our parks summer program. 150 was the number that was given to me by Ms. Lawson. My question is, how does 6 employees handle 150, not students, but children during the summer program? I'm not visually seeing how that happens.
We actually have additional staffing and support, and I would ask Ms. Sonia Ray, our Director of Parks, to come and directly address.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioner. We have all the staff, even myself. I come down and I engage with the staff that we have on both sites. So we have everybody fluctuate the schedule so that we balance each and every day. The only time I'm away from the office is when we have either Zoom meetings or meetings to update the manager on what we're doing each and every day. So right now we actually somewhat balanced. And like the manager said, I have been interviewing staff for the last 3 weeks. So now the process is where they're at now to actually do a rapid process right now so that we can get the staff in so we can go ahead and finish out the summer and year round as well.
So are there additional employees that are working for the summer program? Or is it just the 6 that was mentioned before?
The staff here right now.
The staff here.
And you have like school crossing guards that works for the city that come over and spend time with us as well to assist. So it's not just the park staff by itself. You still have some
Okay.
school crossing guards that come over that's not working right now. They volunteer their time.
So just want to be clear, first of all, thank you all. That's probably, when I heard the number 150, that may be the highest number that we've ever had in a summer program. So definitely great fact that we have, it was stated that we're not bringing in kids, we're bringing in kids. We need to bring in staff. You need support. And we can't keep just, making this just not a priority. I can't imagine being an educator with that many students. I'm saying students, I'm so sorry, children, and not having, so I'm sure at the end of the day, you all are exhausted. However, it's a great exhaustion because it's giving back to children, which, that's what we do. However, Mr. Manager, we gotta get them help. Like, we gotta get them help before we're in week 3 of the summer. We're in week 3, school ended June 9th, to be exact. So, but, thank you to the 6 and to those that are providing that support. But, we really need to get that going because there are so many community agencies that'll come in and do so much great work that we need to reach out to.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just have 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard that it's 150 students in the camp. My question is, how many of those students are residents of Opa-locka? And secondly, I want to know what will be the final ratio from worker to student or child?
Well, right now, the ratio is 20-1.
As you stand right now, it's 20-1? Or that's what it's gonna be after everybody?
Oh, no, we actually maxed out right now. We're not taking any more kids.
No, what I'm asking right now, as it stands, is 20-1
Yes.
with the bodies that you have, being adults? 20-1. So at the end of your hiring, what is the ratio gonna be then?
Well, actually, we're gonna go back to the regular number as to, it might, because right now it's like 50 kids normally at each site. So with the staff that you have coming on now, you will have enough staff to cover the bases because you
But what's
have.
the ratio? I want to know, is it 10-1, 5-1?
No, it's 20-1, actually, the
You're
ratio.
saying that now, with the staff that you have now, no, that's not what she said.
No, the ratio period is 20-1 by law, 20-1.
Okay.
No
I get it.
matter how many staff you have, it's 20-1.
Okay.
Children to that staff.
And the other question, how many of those students are from the city of Opa-locka?
80% of them is from Opa-locka, is from the Back Blues, from 13875 all through the 4.2 miles of Opa-locka.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. And secondly, no, you're good. Thank you. I just want to put on record, thank you, Commissioner Titus, for coming up and, sharing those comments. It was very gut-wrenching to hear that a former commissioner is experiencing what she has experienced. But I will say, and this is to the manager's office, we've had this conversation. There is a clear breakdown in communication. Former Commissioner Titus said, communication. It is just such, it's key, and it's systemic. It is a systemic issue that is not happening. And also, when she made the comment about not getting information funneled back to her, well, that's happening to us here on the dais too. We're getting information and others outside got that information before we get it. Unacceptable. And we got to do better. Our communication is bad. We have people that have applied for jobs and have stated that they have waited for we received your application, just something, and no communication comes back to them. So we got to fix, it's systemic. This is systemic, and we got to fix this system that communication piece has to get better. And that's all I needed to say. Mr. Manager,
Yes, Madam
anything
Mayor.
else? Okay. Any official board reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any future agenda items?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would like for us to take a look, a second look or third look on the signage as it relates to publicizing events in the city. I know we do have something in our that was passed, I guess, pre-us about putting out signs, and not just business signs. I'm talking about being able to publicize what's going on in the city. So I would like for us to take a look at that ordinance that was passed.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk.
Oh,
Oh,
what's the resolution to? I mean, what do you?
Is
what's
it
the motion?
marketing?
What are you
Yeah.
asking? Is resolution?
If I'm not mistaken, I know that it was somewhere in the resolution stating about not being able to put up signs for events. And I wanted to know, us to take a look at it again, because as it states, we are in a really bad place when it comes to publicizing our events. So if we can, have signage, to just publicize the feedings or even our monthly meetings, something. But I know it's in the ordinance saying that we can't, if I remember correctly. So I would like to, just put something on the books, just take a look at it, see what we can do, just revisit it, where we can go ahead and make just a refresher. Does that make sense?
So you want us to review the sign ordinance in the city to see what we can and cannot do, because you want us to advertise with signage?
Right. Thank you for
Okay.
your verbiage.
If, Madam Mayor,
yes.
if I kind of remember correctly, I do know that we had a signage ordinance that spoke to the appearance of our commercial businesses and that sort of thing. And basically, I know it spoke to some aspects of uniformity as far as, having a certain, like commercial sign for our businesses throughout the city. And I know at some point it had a deadline a few years back, and we got a lot of concerns being raised from the community regarding it, which we at some point decided to push that deadline back. I'm not sure where we are in that process. I would think that deadline has passed. And that item was supposed to come back to the commission for reconsideration or implementation. So if that's the same signage ordinance, which I believe it is, that speaks to complying to some form of some aspect of uniformity, I support it, and I think it's long overdue.
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry. You are correct, but I think it was a secondary part to it as it relates to events, publicizing what's going on in the city, but you are correct.
Madam Clerk.
Madam Mayor, so if I recall correctly, previously under a separate commission, the city of Opa-locka used to have wooden signs where they used to advertise all city events. And they had them in different locations of the city. At that time, the city commission decided to pass a resolution to do away so that, we don't no longer use those wooden signs. And that may be what Commissioner Bass is speaking about, but I can do some research on it. You can still move forward with your future agenda item, but I'll also provide the legislation on the books that kind of spoke to those wooden signs that were placed throughout the city of Opa-locka. And I think that's when we used to have the food giveaways that was sponsored by Commissioner Kelly. And they used to be, they used to put one right in front of Historic City Hall. They used to put one like in the main entrances of the city. And they passed a resolution at that time to do away with those signs. So I'll provide that legislation to you all, and you can still do whatever it is you need to do.
Okay, great.
Okay, then, I'm sorry. Then here's where I'm a little confused at, because we have signs now that we use to advertise.
Do we?
There's signs up right now, and then we've put up signs before for other stuff. So what are,
I'm not
that's why I was
aware.
a little confused with Commissioner Bass's resolution, her future agenda item. I don't understand what she means. Because like we have the illegal dumping, we've advertised events, we've advertised other stuff. So I guess, can you give us a little more clarity of what you mean? Because we're doing it now.
Madam Mayor?
Okay.
I hear you, but I don't see it. I don't see it. The last time I saw something that we were publicizing to our community was an event that the mayor was doing, and the budget came out of her budget to do it.
Yeah.
The very last time. I don't see any advertisement throughout the city on what we're doing. Me personally, I don't see any.
Well, I know now we have the illegal dumping signs that are up right now around the city. And I know there's one on 135th, there's one on 22nd Avenue, there's several around. So are you asking to allocate money for signage?
That would eventually be a part of it.
That's why I'm a little confused as to what you're proffering.
But you understand where I'm coming
Well,
from? Because we go Facebook,
you're-
everything's Facebook, everybody's not on Facebook, everybody's not on social media. So when we're holding events, it is not publicized where, in my opinion, I'm driving down the street and I can see a sign saying, oh, there's feeding tomorrow, or the vice mayor's holding an activity. You don't see that. I see bingo on Facebook. I don't see it on the corner of 135th Street.
So you want us to, so it's not, yeah, that's
It's
what I was saying,
marketing,
more
yeah,
marketing than-
right.
So when we're
Mhm.
doing events, you want us to
Exactly.
utilize
you.
signage?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
okay, yeah, because we was a little confused.
Madam Clerk found the legislation that stated what we were saying. It seems like the legislation was more geared to commissioners having their face on the sign, correct? From what I read.
So yes, it was geared to commissioner sponsored events and having, the pictures, but it also removed all those signs. So like, if you were to have an event, Madam Mayor, then, that prevents you from having signs throughout the city of Opa-locka. And, they use those signs because people used to drive, through those main areas and, you can see the signs and it kind of gets the word out to the residents, but that was a legislation. I did find it. Well, Chris, assisted me and he's gonna email it to everyone. So you all should have it in your email shortly.
Okay.
And if that's not what you're
No,
talking about, oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion to add the proposed item to future commission meeting agenda?
Move it. It was already the motion. I second it.
Oh, second. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam
Mayor.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner Davis.
I just want to put a motion on the floor and my hope is that the mayor and commission would support it. Earlier today, we received the email, a friendly reminder in the form of an email, basically reminding us that we have $5,000 a $5,000 line item that is allocated in our budget for scholarships for our graduates in the community. I do know that is something that we fought for in previous budget years and we carried year to year. It was a pilot project, something that we, just kind of tried for the first couple of times in the city, and we had challenges with awarding the money and the timeline and that sort of thing. So maybe we can go back and, look at how we implement the program. But my hope is to put a motion on the floor to basically give those funds out as we're still ahead of, the fall semester. Obviously, we might have missed, those students who are enrolling in the summer. But my hope is that we could at least get those funds out prior to the fall. So my hope is to put a motion on the floor to basically direct the city manager to establish a new program based on those parameters and our feedback.
Madam
Can
Mayor,
we? Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay. To my colleague, totally agree. I know Commissioner Bass is having the graduation ceremony. Is that something that we can tie into that? Because at that moment, we'll be able to figure out who the seniors are
Yeah.
and then we can present it at that moment. So is that something that we can do?
I think it definitely should be involved together. I think, Commissioner, when is the event again?
July 16th.
In 2 weeks.
So can I pause real quick? Only because when we're talking about scholarship dollars, we need to see the application. If the application is asking for a transcript, whether it's official, sealed, unofficial transcript, that may not be something that a student can get right now. I can tell you because the registrars that actually give out those transcripts are not at work. They're working, kind of sporadic. So those students may not be able to go. So I don't know the language. I've been wanting to do it because, of course, as an educator, but I think what we may want to do is take a look at the application itself. We may have to make an amendment or to something in the application in terms of having an unofficial transcript. Because if it says official, then it has to be a sealed transcript.
Right.
So just want us to just be a little aware of that. I'm definitely okay, because I was thinking the same thing of having that proffered over to Commissioner Bass's event, which I'm sure is going to be spectacular. And thank you for doing that. But if we could just read the language, if Madam Clerk, if you can send over the scholarship application so we could take a look at it, maybe it's something that's we can, amend really quick. I don't know if that's something we have to bring back to the commission. We shouldn't have to.
Madam Mayor.
I'll provide I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, I'll provide the legislation that was previously adopted, which kind of approved the process. I think that was like 2 years back.
Yes.
So I'll provide that to you all. And I'm not sure what the wording is, but I believe that it did require at that time an official transfer.
Yeah. So my question is, if it's in legislation, do we then have to come back here to amend the language, or can we amend it ourselves without coming back to?
I believe that we would need to bring it back to amend that language since it was adopted as a part of the resolution.
Okay.
And the city attorney's office can correct me if I'm wrong.
So we could still give it out. I mean, we
And then
could
we can
still give it
ratify it.
out, and then, for the students, that can be something, especially since the event is in 2 weeks. It's a matter of giving the application out to the students when they're there and let them know that we will backdate the due date for the amount, for the scholarship award, so that those students that are present will be able to get it. Because I know that, and that's very popular, having students complete scholarship applications on site as well. So, anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
why can't this be a future agenda item? Because we don't even know. It's we're giving away $5,000. Who are we giving it to? Like, do we have like the students? Are
No,
they
that's
gonna-
what- yeah, that
That's what
was
I'm saying.
already a
she's
process
seen
in
this
place.
coming.
Okay,
But
thank
we
you.
Yeah,
had challenges, so.
Okay,
my-
that's, I just wanted that
Yeah.
clarity.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, my recommendation would be maybe to take some things away. Maybe we had too much, like you said, official transcripts and, no one's, the registrars aren't at schools right now. So, I think the timing of it and, certain other aspects made it, difficult for the community to apply. Because we do know we have youth in our community that are, engaging in higher education opportunities. So the fact that, we had all these scholarships and we weren't able to get them out, to me is an indicator that there might be a problem with the application process, hence the need to, maybe streamline it. Maybe we just say, we want an essay, right? I mean, I know other entities like the alumni associations for, local, colleges and that sort of thing, they tend to have, different processes, but we can maybe look at those and see. But I think the end goal, although we should use some parameter, to choose, I think the end goal is, we really just want to get these funds out.
Bingo.
Madam Mayor, because I work at a college, right now, summer already started, so I'm pretty sure there won't be going now. So they'll probably be able to use it in the fall, which is in August. So we have plenty of time to choose and review the applications and see who qualifies so we can give everybody, a fair chance on getting funds for the scholarship.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me go back. Commissioner Davis,
So if
You made a
you guys,
motion.
I put
Yeah.
a motion and my
Okay.
hope was to have
yes.
the commission sponsored. So if everybody, if I see nods,
So I'm
I
gonna
would,
second the motion.
yes.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
I'm sorry. We're doing a motion for what to,
To approve the
To approve
future
the money.
agenda item
of the $5,000?
of basically creating a process to or re-looking at the process to because there's one already in place to give out scholarships, which we anticipate if we, use it again, we'll probably run into challenges giving it out. So we're gonna take the time to look at the application. The clerk is gonna provide us with that direction and I mean, I think the goal is to, or the intention is to, have them given out at Commissioner Bass's event, which is 2 weeks out. So if the item needs to come back before the commission, we would need to basically have a special commission meeting in between now and, Commissioner Bass's event, based on our individual feedback with the clerk.
Not to do it at her event, to introduce it.
Oh, to
Yeah,
introduce it at the
introduce
event.
it, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, so we just have to vote on it to introduce it
Bingo,
at Commissioner
bingo.
Bass's event.
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, my invite still extend to you all to be a part of it. And it's not about the money. I have enough money to cover it, but I just thought to just be a team player, and it's for our 12th grade students. So my office still extend to you all.
We gonna be there and we support you.
Yeah,
We coming.
oh, no, it was just about the money, the
Just-
scholarship
we
money. We
covered-
just want to add,
We support
we
you.
want to make it great. Yeah, yeah.
We gonna be
Greater.
there.
So we have a motion. It's been second. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Not to prolong the time, I have two future agenda items and I'll be really quick. The first one, we know last week, the county was selected to host the World Cup.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, we had Super Bowl, but it seemed like the city, we ain't really do nothing. Okay, so what I'm asking is that we proffer the city manager to, I'm asking the city manager to identify funding to establish a soccer program here in the city of Opa-locka. That's so that by 26, our soccer program is up and running and we moving and we ready to be a part of those festivities. And the other thing, because I want our city involved, this time I want our city involved. So if that's the first future agenda item.
Okay.
So what? We need
Yeah,
to-
so we need a second. It's seconded. Madam Clerk, roll call.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
I did.
Oh, okay. Madam Mayor.
A little discussion before we
Oh,
do roll
okay, go
call.
ahead,
I
discuss.
just want to tell Commissioner Teller, I agree. We had a soccer company, like, it's a soccer facility.
Yeah, we have one in the city. soccer
On
land.
135th, yep, and they're very committed. I know when
wanna be a
they,
part,
yeah, they wanted to, give back to parks and that sort of thing. And it was actually anticipation of this moment, which is why they decided to relocate in the city of Opa-locka because of the opportunities that now presents itself in Miami Gardens at the stadium. But yeah, I support it wholeheartedly, and I hope that that we can kind of bring these efforts and coordinate a little better when we have regional wins like that. Because ultimately, I mean, that's how we got them to come to our community because of what the next city is implementing. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and thank you, Vice Mayor Taylor, because you're correct. There are so many different programs. Dibby a Dream, Adrian Harris flag football. There's so many. I can't even begin. And we know they're all in our neighboring cities back door. Why we need to bring that same thing. And I don't know about you all, but they're always coming to me. How do we get in? How do I get in Opa-locka? How do I get in? So we need to make sure that, we know that Divya Dream is doing STEM right now at Bunch Park. That would have been perfect here, starting at 6 years old, all the way up. So we need to make sure that we are having these MOU partnerships with outside organizations to 150 kids would love soccer, So we gotta do a little bit more. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
And the
Motion
last
passes.
one, Madam Mayor, this was brought up prior to this commission, but it didn't go through. And I thought it was a very good program, and we dropped the ball on it. It was probably by another colleague of ours, to bring forth and develop a pre-arrest diversion program here in the city of Opa-locka. A pre-arrest diversion program here in the city of Opa-locka. That was proffered like 2 years ago, but it failed. But I want us to bring it back and revisit it again.
Any discussion? May I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Commissioner Davis, discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. I agree wholeheartedly, Commissioner Taylor. I think that when you create diversion programs and ultimately other ways to kind of keep our officers handling the more pressing issues of our community. I believe in second chances, and I know we looked at a bunch of laws to ultimately make things more impactful and more equitable for our community, hence repealing the saggy pants and various laws that affected certain segments of our population. So I support it. The only I think issue we might have is that I know that sometimes diversion, I think I don't know if it's a power of a higher government. I think it might be a county thing. So it'd be interesting to see like how that works out. But yeah, I support it wholeheartedly, and I hope that is within the power of our municipal government to be able to grant that sort of leeway for our residents.
Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. And I have one, I see y'all packing up. Future agenda item, I mentioned it before, but just make sure that we have it. We know that our residents are always asking, where do I go for this services, that resources in our city? So I would like for us, and this is to have a strategic list of partnerships and MOUs in our city. Who do we, if I'm and I'm just saying this for please don't, if I'm a woman, and I need shelter, women and children shelter, where do I go? Is there a place here in the city? Do you send me to Christie House? What are those services that and if we are not partnered, let's say with Christie House, then we need to have a partnership with them and I'm just saying women and children, battered women and children or the like, so that we can have that MOU with these organizations so that we can say, yes, this is a resource that we have not only here, but we have a partnership with Career Source so I am asking if we can have a strategic list of resources and partnerships, MOUs that we have created. And if we haven't, we need to make sure that we are creating more. We are a large enough city to have more partnerships with organizations, Children's Trust, et cetera. Can I have a
Madam Mayor, I second that motion.
second? Any discussion?
I'll be brief because I know the night is at its end, but I support it, Madam Mayor. Great work. I remember when I was a community organizer many moons ago, working for a local nonprofit that ultimately provided, housing and various community programs. As hard as we tried to be a full service, provider and take a comprehensive approach to solving community issues, you realize that there are gaps in services. And that was actually one of my tasks while I was there, which was to establish a referral, I guess a referral network, if you would. So like you said, we as a city, we provide certain services, but we do realize that, the perception and there is a need out there that, ultimately, as much as we try as a city, we may not be able to fulfill. So coordinating with, whether it's Miami-Dade County Community Action Agency and their services or various local nonprofits or state resources that maybe can help our residents, I think will be very impactful and will, work to our advantage when it comes to service delivery and our interactions with our residents.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Davis. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, any mayor commission reports? I know
Not a
y'all have some.
report,
Mhm.
but I just want to to say, apologize to our staff that we know we keep you all here long times, but then I want to also say thank you for your patience because you all been here since 8 o'clock this morning. So we thank you and we appreciate all that you do. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Yes.
I'll be brief, Madam Mayor, but I just want to announce the conversations with Commissioner Chris Davis event. As you know, embarking on a listening tour in different areas of our community. This Friday, June 24th, I will be at Cadova Courts from 3 to 5 to basically host a community meeting to speak to some of the recent safety concerns that many of the residents have been expressing. So I look forward to having those conversations with them and also extend the invite to my colleagues as I hope that you guys are able to join and ultimately provide that feedback to our residents.
Okay. Thank you. And also thank you for the one-stop walking, walk, one-stop, great event. And thank you again, Commissioner Bass, for your event that you're having as well. Anyone else? Did I hijack your talking points, Commissioner Bass? Oh, okay. Yes. Madam Clerk, any official board appointments? Please tell me you have one for me.
No, Madam Mayor, we don't have any pending applications at this time.
But I do want to make a recommendation, not a recommendation, make an appointment for the Planning and Zoning Board. Nikisha Williams. She expressed.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and reach out to her
Okay.
and make sure that she fills out the necessary paperwork.
And lastly, it's not here, but I know this is kind of an unofficial board, but I do know, Mr. Manager, the audit committee, we're still waiting on your appointment before we can move on, and we really need to get those, the meetings back up and running.
Absolutely, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Okay, if nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you all so much. Have a great evening. We're adjourned.